Thank you, Michael. Welcome, everyone, here. Just going back and reflecting on the West Virginia game. Again, just very proud of our team to go on the road here late in the season. Of course, a game with championship-type importance. Going away to a crowd charged up late Saturday night, a team charged up, also with a lot to play for, and to come out and manage and handle the situation the way we did, the game the way we did, couldn't be more pleased just overall, with our players, poise and and toughness to handle the whole situation and play the way we did. Some things offensively, of course, with the conditions the way they were, and the way we were running the football. Coach Riley really stuck to the running game in a great way. Players of the game were immediately for us the offensive line, with Jonathan Alvarez, the 5 starters, Dimitri Flowers, and our 2 excellent running backs, Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon. But that was, the big story of the game. And early on, the turnovers and some of the defensive stops to build such a strong lead right away, to really take the crowd out of it, and to just play so well, for sure, through the first half, and then to intercept the ball and separate ourselves more in the second half. Just really helped us manage the crowd and help the game, of course, go, in a better way. Again, Baker Mayfield really excellent on the day. Just played in a really great way. Dede again with big play to go with the running game. Defensively, Jordan Evans again had a stellar day with a strip for a fumble, an interception for a touchdown. Really hurt us when he left the game. With all the pieces we've had missing, he's been kind of the glue. When he went out after the interception, it was tougher to manage. We held it together there and settled down in the fourth quarter towards the end. But anyway, Jordan seems to be okay. It's just a strain. They didn't find any defect where it was a major pull in the muscle, so he'll rest obviously this week, and hopefully, we'll be able to return the following week. Special teams, the way, again, managed the game really well, just handling the ball, field goals, extra points, kicking it off, covered really well. That was all solid, and I thought we took care of the football really well. We didn't drop the ball at all. We had the 1 interception with tight, good coverage, and that's going to happen. Baker's trying to put it in there where we've made competitive catches before. Guy made a really good play on it. And you can live with that, but we really secured the ball the whole night. And anyway, come away with the great victory, 56-28 up there. And leads us to this week, leading into Oklahoma State the following week here. We will practice a normal Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. We don't have school Wednesday, so we'll practice a little bit earlier. So players traveling home in the afternoon have an opportunity to get home, and players will be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, back for a Sunday late afternoon meeting. So that's sort of how the rest of the week will play out.
Bob, when Evans went out, who takes over the play calling at that point, or how did you get your?
Well, we don't, they used to have a traditional huddle where one guy called it. Now everybody's looking at the board and everyone's on their own to get the call, and and we change it up different, times by quarters. But anyway, so everybody's really in charge of that. But he does make the rip Liz or different where we're coming from and those kind of things. And that was all fine. It's just overall, the plays he's been making and the presence in there and whatnot, it's just not easy to replace.
Well, so, do you feel fortunate to win so decisively in a game in which one guy runs for 330-something yards and has 5 or 6 runs over 30 yards?
Well, yes, but again, there's a lot of other good. Defending the pass was great. The turnovers were great. And still there's 28 points. And so, no, there's some things we definitely need to be better, but give them credit. They got an experienced offensive line that really created. We were in, wasn't like we lined up wrong. They cut us off in some spaces. Backer overran or came too tight on one. The back bounces outside of them and then made us miss a time or two. So we can be better, but also, you have to give them some credit, too, for good execution.
Is football in the old days? If somebody ran for 300 yards, is automatic. He's on the winning team.
Well,
we've seen Foreman have some huge games for Texas and games they lost.
Well, there's no question. The other parts of that are what are the other plays passing the ball, and or what turnovers are always a story of a game, and I don't care what game it is, so there's a lot of parts other than just a run game.
Bob, 7 turnovers in 2 weeks. Was it just a matter of they would come eventually this season?
I think sometimes it's a little bit of good fortune. The other team helps you a little bit, and we're we have Jordan. You see it on tape. Or on the TV copy. He's in there ripping the ball out, and in winter snowy conditions. So good job by him. And again, I thought too Jordan had a great chance for another one that he usually is going to get, but. So anyway, yeah, it definitely helps.
Now that you're down to 1 game, are you comfortable at this point bringing up the possibility of the playoff to your team?
I don't think it matters in that all we can do is play the very best we can against an in-state rival with a game that has Big 12 championship. So, whatever else is going to happen will happen. All we can do something about is that. And, so this week, other things will happen. We'll see how it goes this week with some other games, and then championship week, we're out there first. So all we can do is do our best.
How much does it help to have the week off prior to the Bedlam game?
Last year I would have said I didn't want it. This year we badly need it, just with healing up and getting some guys rested and so, I felt a year ago, the way we were playing, you wanted to keep playing. This year, with all the different guys, I think it's going to be great for get some guys rested and get a little extra work on them.
Jordan said that he watched the Texas Tech film with his dad after that game, and that really helped him play better this season. Could you tell a difference after he did that?
Yeah, I think it's hard to explain. In the end, he's definitely been highly productive in the last several weeks, and whatever that game was, that's an aberration. That hasn't been how he's played for a long time here. So he's really been a spark for us here these last few weeks.
Coach, it's one thing to run the ball well. It's another when the other team probably knows it's coming based on the weather conditions. How gratifying was it to see that, given the weather, that you guys were able to impose your will the way you did?
Yeah, it was great. It give those guys a lot of credit in all the different ways they were mixing it up. Bringing blitzes or stunting this way, that way, and those guys did a great job sifting it out. They have their plays where it's 1 yard, 2 yard, catch you in the backfield time or two, but overall, they really, worked through it really well with Dimitri as well, to give those guys spaces. And let's also, you got to give Samaje and Joe some great credit in that there's some guys that come up to get them, and they can run through a tackle, side or stiff arm a guy, slide away from a guy, and they get a lot of yards after their hit as well.
You mentioned Alvarez in terms of the offensive line and acknowledgement. How difficult's that been for him? A guy that played a lot last year, now he's not playing as much.
Well, I'm sure it's challenging. Jonathan though has been a great teammate, and anytime he's called upon, he goes in and plays well. So, his time will keep coming.
How's Wren doing?
Yeah.
Pardon me? How's Wren doing?
Eric's played really well. I think that's.
He came out of the game.
Yeah, he was okay. He could have went back in, but Jonathan was doing well, and I think Bill, once he gets comfortable and someone's getting the rhythm of the game, I think he's apprehensive to change it a whole lot, and it's hard to argue with him.
Tactically speaking, Bob, what went wrong in the run defense?
I said it earlier. We got cut off. They blocked us. Got cut off in some instances. Backer scraped too wide on an instance. Missed a tackle in the secondary on another instance. So little things like that.
Do you go into this week or the next 2 weeks saying we have to stop doing this, we have to get better at that kind of thing?
Well, we have to get, you definitely don't want to get cut off. You don't want to over-scrape on it, so yeah, but that hasn't been a trend for us through the year. We've, for the most part, have played great, really good run defense in most of the year, and believe we can again.
That surprised you about D.D.? Most people think him just a speed guy, but he stiff-armed a linebacker.
Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. He's got a lot of power to him, even for a little guy. But sometimes let's, give the backer a break. Maybe he didn't have a good grasp. It was slippery. Who knows? I don't want to. Let's not. We're not going to be having D.D. Bull over a whole bunch of linebackers anytime soon. So anyhow, that guy's a good player too. And again, sometimes you just get caught in the right way that you can't quite complete it.
Do you do any pregame stretches that help you break up scuffles midfield?
No. You know what? That totally caught me by surprise. I was mad at myself. My back was to them because I had already seen them leave the field. So I figured, hey, we're no problem here. We're going to punt the ball and meet at the 40, where we always do. We don't go to anybody's logo, haven't in 18 years. And all of a sudden, I turn around and everybody's at midfield. So they were sitting there, must have been waiting on us in the end zone and came charging at us when we do our normal punt the ball and meet at the 40-yard line and then exit the field.
Did Dana say or anything to you about how that? Did they think you were on their logo or something?
No, they were probably just making sure they weren't going to be intimidated by anything. And I didn't. Meeting at midfield and getting a break normally isn't too intimidating for anybody, but that's what they thought, I guess.
There was so much talk after last year about that this team wasn't physical enough on both sides of the line. Is that something that you feel like you're starting to become known for? I mean, it's almost like people treat you like you're bullies.
I don't know about any of that. I don't pay attention to it. We do the best you can, and we're not out there getting personal fouls and doing anything to draw penalties and meeting at the 40-yard line. Everyone meets somewhere. And again, show me a time where we've been stomping on anybody's logo, and that hasn't happened in 18 years. So we do things the right way. And but in the end, I don't know that it didn't help us. So we were sure ready to go. I know that.
So once you got to the locker room, guys were talking about that?
Oh, geez. I didn't know. I thought we were going to be overheated before we even got to the game.
I saw Bill was kind of roaming around in the scuffle, but he wasn't really breaking anyone up. What was he doing? Did you see him?
I didn't see Bill. I saw him at halftime getting his guys off the field that were still talking. Now, if that's what you're talking about, he was just getting his guys off the field to make sure they didn't get a penalty.
Coach, when you look back at film over the course of the season, what's standing out most to you about what Orlando Brown's doing?
Just continues to play at a high level. Orlando every week has had, of course, a winning grade, if not a great grade, and physical. Great protecting. He's doing all the things you want him to do. But what I appreciate about him more than anything is intensity and leadership. And I was proud of him last night. The guy, he gets warned about every game, and I have a talk with him every game. And he promised me he wouldn't get a penalty, and he didn't. And so. But anyway, so he showed some self-control to go with that intensity, and and he's playing well.
Baker didn't post great stats, and this game wasn't conducive for that. But wouldn't you say, and you talked about it a little bit, but the way he manages this game, he doesn't drop a snap. His handoffs are perfect.
His checks at the line were great. He had 3 drops in the first 2 series that are legitimate drops. He threw the ball great, and what we asked him to, changed run plays at the line of scrimmage. Pulled a couple, pulled them, to make first down or to get a touchdown. He did exactly what we needed him to do. And again, you're away from home. You're not out for stats. You're out to have a good, solid win. And you go up 34-0 away from home in an important game. He's doing a great job managing the situation, as you said, and no balls on the ground. And again, I could live with the pick. How many balls has he thrown in there? And D.D. comes up with that ball, so. Kid made a good play, and so that doesn't bother you at all. So he had a really good game.
Did the drops early on convince you guys as an offensive staff? Time to get the ball on the ground, make sure we keep it on the ground.
I don't think so. I think a lot of it too goes, when it's working. Lincoln just kept going with it, and why change? So. And really, it was only bad. What was it? The first, I lose track, like the first quarter or first half a quarter, right? And then the snow stopped, and it was on the ground, but it was cleared up and was really great until the end of the game. So the conditions weren't all that bad actually.
He's had such success during the Big 12, but we talked about how well he's doing on the field. But what about his maturity and handling all the success that's attention that's coming to him?
Yeah, Didi's been awesome, just in his overall leadership, maturity, the way he's handled himself. He's been excellent. He's really excited for the team more than anything. He, is an all-around team guy. Loves seeing the other guys also do well, and and he's excited that he's helping the team the way he is. With the big plays he's been able to make.
Bob, we see upsets in college football every week, but last week in the Big 12, a couple of shocking upsets. Kansas beats Texas, and Iowa State hangs 66 on Texas Tech. What do you make of that as a coach, looking around the league and you look around your own conference and
I'm
say?
not much on, when I haven't seen those games and I don't have a purpose to go see them. We've played those teams it's hard for me to say. I didn't see all of it. So in the end, I do know a couple of things, that when you're in conference, when teams are very familiar with each other. And I always believe that some teams, I've said it a million times here, Iowa State's a lot better than any of you guys think, or maybe you do, but the general population thinks. And I said that about 10 times before and after playing them, and nobody wanted to listen. They're a good team, and aren't far off. And I felt that way with Kansas. Now, we got a few things going that day and made it maybe bigger than I thought it would have been, but they're better than everyone wants to believe in, and again, you get familiarity playing with people, and it doesn't take much to be on the wrong end of it if you're not up to your par. If you're a little behind where you usually are, those guys will definitely beat you, and so.
Word out of Austin last night and today is that Charlie Strong is going to be fired after the TCU game. I know you don't want to speculate, but maybe.
That's not for me. If that isn't the case, and I don't, what am I going to say about that if it's not the case? I've always had great respect for Charlie, known him a long time, and he's an excellent coach. So whatever happens with him, he'll do well. He'll do well.
How much you think your guys have improved this season?
Well, again, it's been ongoing. I think we've had obviously more continuity offensively. We haven't had as many pieces to keep moving around, but But I'll say this: but I do believe the younger guys that have gone into these roles and playing more and more have grown and are getting better, and that's a positive. So I still think there's more. I still think some of the young receivers can add more. I still think defensively some of the young, whether it be inside linemen, some of the, even EB is a young guy who's in there for the first time, is getting better and better. Jordan Parker other than one play, had a really good game. So there's a freshman that's gotten better. So it's ongoing, with the number of pieces in particular on defense. And feel great. Kicking game's really been solid all year. So we're improving, but I think there's more to come.
Is that one of the tougher parts about college? Like in college basketball, you are greatly rewarded if you're playing your best, even in February on through. Where in college football, what happens at the start can really punish you for the rest of the year.
I don't know. I think they pay attention to how you're playing at the end as well. I think that's a strong factor for them. But I do believe, in the end, whatever you did in the beginning also is a part of it for every team. But I do believe they pay attention to who's playing really well at the end. I felt that a year ago was a major case for us having it, being in the playoffs the way we played the last couple weeks.
Bob, when you start the season, you've got a lot of pieces back on offense, but it took them some time to kind of build chemistry again this year. How much, looking back on it now, did it just really kill hopes of building chemistry or momentum when you were so unsettled at that one corner spot early?
Yeah, it's tough. That's a tough position with, the people you're playing and the way people throw it. So it was hard. It's hard to manage.
What was the key for you and your coaches to hold things together after the way this year started and all the injuries and everything?
Well, I think several things. It's keeping confident in your system and what you do. Players, remaining confident and coaching them in an instructive and positive way to improve. And I think, too, ignoring the outside noise. Trust, what you're doing and do your best to do it in a better way, and the guys did that. And, and we've, been scrapping and fighting and working all the way through it. And here we are, in a fair position to finish the year. So we've got to get better this week and going into next week.
I know you said that Jordan Evans had given you guys a spark the last few weeks. He said after that Texas Tech game that he looked himself in the mirror and said he needed to make some changes. Has there been anything in his demeanor or in practice, things that you've noticed maybe that?
Sure, he's making more plays and been a very positive influence. But I don't want to act like he hadn't been. He had that. I don't want everyone to reflect on one game when there's been 11 of them, and he's played well. And so anyhow, but it's very obvious in the last several weeks, the standout plays and the way in his, he's done a good job, great job, leading at practice as well and making those kind of plays in practice too.
How meaningful is it for this basically Big 12 championship game to be played on the final weekend as opposed to the week before?
Yeah, I think it's great. It gives you, especially the way the game has come down to, it gives you that championship presence on championship weekend. And I felt a year ago that it was probably a mistake that we weren't playing it on that weekend again because of the situation we were in, that we had a chance to be in the playoffs. And I thought having a presence that day would help and hoped it wouldn't hurt us a week later that people forgot how we played, and fortunately they didn't.
Elijah finding his groove better after missed all that time. It's like he
definitely, and there's something to that. But he had a really great day the other day, and just cuts and getting through people, and so I would say so.
Bob, the committee was pretty clear, that they were not penalized, but they didn't give the Big 12 a lot of credit for not having a championship game. I know you guys are moving to that, but even though it's fortune that's made it that way, should they place more weight in the fact that this is the best two teams record-wise playing each other?
Well, I think they will. I don't think there's any question they will once that game gets here. And Oklahoma State, like I said, in my eyes, is a one-loss team, and and ought to be ranked higher than they are. But in the end, I think it will carry weight, once the game is played for both teams.
2 years in a row where Bedlam decides the Big 12. If this was next year, you'd have to play them again. Are you concerned about the possibility of back-to-back games?
Ask me next year. Right now, that's a long way off.
You want to see them moving this game, though? Moving you guys away from Thanksgiving weekend?
Yeah, maybe, because last year it would have been the same thing, right? We would have had to turn around and play them again the following week. So I'm sure that's something that they'll look at.
I know when you're on the field, Bob, and you've got an official review, you're at the mercy of whatever you see in the stadium. It seems like when you're watching replays, it's harder and harder to tell whether something's going to be overturned or not. Do you guys look at that after games and
we
try
send
and keep
them
checks
in.
and balances?
Yeah, we send them in and just ask for clarification on why they, ruled it this way. I think sometimes what gets people is some things aren't definitive, then they have to go with what stands on the field, and I get that. Sometimes it goes in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. The one, on Baker diving out of bounds with the ball, and I guess and the way he explained it to me, and they reviewed it, so it had to be correct, is when he's airborne, so even if the ball, wherever the ball crosses the out of bounds line, not where he lands with it, and so it must have been out around where, obviously where they said it was. So that one was kind of strange to us. We thought he for sure had it. But anyway, I think what gets a lot of people, though, is surely he's down and you can't really see it, but you assume he is. But the guy, if he's going by the letter of the law up there, that if I can't determine it for sure, then you go with what's on the field. And I think that creates more, angst for people watching it.
They're saying he went out of bounds and then did this, reached it forward.
They just said as he started to dive, wherever the ball was, as he's diving, it was out at that point short of the stick, even though he lands 2 yards past the stick. You know, so, and I don't have a sideline camera, so I'm not sitting here debating it, but that's just, you know, the way it was. We've had some bad fortune on Baker's sliding and in that case, you know, those are several first downs that could have been helpful.
You go up 34-0 on Saturday. At that point, was there a decision to kind of take your foot off of the gas because the offense kind of started to?
I don't think so. I know Coach Riley is very mindful, though, of managing the game in the second half. And I think we had so much success running it that why would you fool around and not continue the same way? And I think what hurt us, I think we had 2 series on 3rd and 1, right, where we would normally have picked it up. That kind of derailed a couple, you know, that made us have a couple of 3 and outs. And I think more than anything, you know, those couple of 3rd and shorts that we didn't pick up kind of derailed us a little more than anything. And then it got to where, yeah, sure, we need to have our normal pace and tempo, and we found it, you know, in the 4th quarter.
When you get this late in the season, what do you think about the concept of style points? You know, just trying.
Well, again, I think, you know, the committee's looking at everything. When so many teams could be so tight, how well are they playing? And you know, so I think in the end, you know, to some degree, that's what they're paying attention to. Who's playing at the strongest level?
Did that come up Saturday when you guys had a late chance to punch in a touchdown? And Cliff asked the question last week about that scenario.
We couldn't have taken a knee. I mean, we would have had to give the ball back. You only do that when you don't have to give the ball back. So I wasn't going to kick a field goal, so it was really the only thing to do there on 4th down.
You mentioned keeping the team together, but after the 1 and 2 start, a lot of people expect the recruiting class might fall apart. Why do you think this group has stayed together through everything?
Well, again, we've got great relationship, you know, with all of these recruits, and you recruiting guys, let me know if I'm going anywhere I'm not allowed to be. But we've got great relationships with these young guys and their families. We've had, you know, great sustained and continued success. We've got an incredible facility that we're going to open up in February that'll be second to none. You know, it's as good as it gets, and again, you know, a year where you got a chance to finish the year competing for a Big 12 championship. That's what these guys want to do. So, you know, and it'll continue. So we got a lot of positive people even to add to it. That was all okay, Kerry?
I'm not your compliance department.
Yeah, I should have had Jason up here.
Anything, I mean, are they making progress internally on some of your facilities?
Oh, yeah. You know, I haven't been over probably in a month and a half, 2 months. In fact, this week, I think tomorrow, I'm going to try and go over and see what, you know, more walls are up, and even they got paint on some of the walls, and it's more, it'll be, when I saw it, it was more skeleton, and, you know, you could see kind of what it's going to look like, so I'm kind of anxious to finally see, you know, where the walls all are and how it looks. Maybe I'll invite you guys to come through.
Did you ever get your quarterly Thanksgiving dinner plan put together? You said a while ago that you told your wife that you wanted to have Thanksgiving dinner 4 times a year.
Oh, yeah, it comes up. We do it, you know, for sure Thanksgiving. Usually try some maybe around Christmas, Easter, any major holidays, and throw in a 4th of July every now and then or something, you know. So you got to get 4 in a year, though, Thanksgivings, yeah. Thanksgiving dinners.
My grandma probably hates that.
I guess maybe 2 weeks ago, came up about Nick Saban using former players to practice. You ever thought of doing that? Have you ever done that?
I'm all for it. If I got any of my guys out there listening that are still in good shape, want to come back and practice a little bit or stay in shape until their next tryout, I'm all for it. You know, we get Stryker out there and pass rush against Orlando. That'd be pretty good competition. That'd make Orlando better for sure. It sure did last couple of years at practice. But anyways, yeah, I think it'd be great. You can't have enough bodies to practice with.
You haven't had anybody come out, though, since that came out?
No.
Any update on Amani Bledsoe?
No. Have not heard.
Jeff Mead's, excuse me, Jeff Mead's kind of a quirky guy, you know, reading books in pregame and stuff like that. Do you remember any of those quirks or anything when you were recruiting him, or that you see now day to day?
Not really, but you know, Jeff's a neat young man, very bright guy, and great communicator. So I was just working out with him in there about a half hour ago. He's bouncing around the weight room better than ever. So glad he's making, you know, being more consistent, making more plays, because he has a lot of potential. And again, that's kind of what I said earlier. I believe there's more to come, you know, with Jeff.
What is Thanksgiving going to be like for you? What's it like at your house? You have a lot of players over that don't.
We had everyone over last year because they weren't. They'll go home this year, you know. And if they don't have a home, they come with me or any of their position coaches, or usually they'll go with a buddy, you know. So last year we had the whole team over, you know, but this year it's different in that we're not playing, you know, Saturday. They'll all disperse. So I'll just hang out with our family, and can't get to Ohio, and none of them want to. They're not going to come all the way out here. So it'll just be friends here.
You won't have a bunch of people coming in next week for the boys' game?
Not right now. Not right now. So, yeah, I was counting on that being Saturday. Jeez, they changed it up on me. I was going to go here and then ride back with OSU if it was in Stillwater, and then they changed it on me. So, all right.